Hello, I am Sam from Cultaholic.com, and this is Graded, where I take a look at NXT and 205 Live segment by segment and award each little bit a grade from A+ to F. Obviously, NXT last week was a bit of a non-show, so yeah, hopefully this week it's from San Jose, it's not from Full Sail, but hopefully this week we're going to see a little bit more action. 205 Live this week also has a really good main event setup, so without any further ado, hit the intro. And we kick things off, as we always kick things off, with 205 Live. Look at the tie, and we go to the ring. And it's time for This is the Greatest. It's Mike Kanellis. And in our opening bout, Mike Kanellis is going to be taking on Noam. In last week's main event, of course, we had Maria doing her whole shenanigans with the "How could you?" and Drake Maverick. But is she going to get involved tonight? Let's find out. The crowd are completely silent. It's like they're all dead. It's really unnerving. Is 205 Live tape before or after these days? I can't ever remember, but would it not be better to just do it at Full Sail, where the crowd's a little bit more intimate and rowdy? Dar quickly gains the upper hand, but he keeps taking a piss, going over to the side of the ring where Maria is at commentary and going, "Hi, hi, hi." Things then spill to the outside. Maria distracts Dar and Mike takes control. Mike then takes things back into the ring and he keeps Dar grounded with a series of strikes and holds, but Dar manages to fight his way out of it and quickly gets back on the front foot. Mike then hits a spine buster, and then out of nowhere, it's Lucha House Party here, and they've brought Penelope, and they're on the ramp. Wait though, there's only two of them. There's only Gran Metalik and Lince Dorado, and they're on the ramp with Penelope. Where's Kalisto? Oh, Kalisto snuck in from the crowd, hits Kanellis with a kick, Dar hits the Nova Roller, and picks up the 3. I'm going to have to unfortunately give this one a C-. It was just a bit of a nothing match. Yes, it furthers the Kanellis TJP Lucha House Party feud, but I just don't know how much more this is going to last. We just need a final match and a definitive winner, and everybody can move on to better things. We then go backstage, and it is Brian Kendrick and Akira Tozawa, and Tozawa has a pair of pads on. Kendrick is punching them, but he's not punching them very hard, and Tozawa's like, "Come on, harder," and Kendrick's sort of lazily, a little bit harder, and then Tozawa sort of has enough and shouts at him, so Kendrick starts wailing on these pads. And then we just cut to Drew Gulak and Jack Gallagher. Gulak and Gallagher slag off Kendrick and rip on him for hanging out with Tozawa. Then Gulak calls him a homeless Leonardo DiCaprio and challenges him to a match next week. Boom. We then go back to the ring for Hideo Itami versus local competitor. So I've actually got notes on exactly how this match goes. Let me read them out for you. Bell rings, Itami kicks local competitor in the face, knee strikes, kicks, hangs him on the rope, diving knee off the top rope, more strikes, back fist, delayed corner drop kick, double knee jawbreaker, 3. Itami is then hell-bent on proving a point by destroying this poor worthless jobber after the bell. He's just wailing on him, and then he's stopped by a returning Arya Daivari. Daivari and Itami stare down in the middle of the ring. Daivari whaps off his overshirt, and he's got a lovely white vest on, and he looks quite Backstreet Boysy. It's all looking very tense. Who's going to be the one that throws the first punch? Is this going to be another massive feud? Nope. No, it's not. Daivari just kicks the absolute piss out of the jobber. This is amazing. Daivari then drags the poor jobber up to his feet and demands that Itami hits him. Itami hits the kick, and then the pair shake hands. It's a squash, but it's nice to have Daivari back, and I'm quite keen to see where this is going to go, so I'm going to give this one a C. I know that might be a little bit harsh, but you cannot grade squashes on the same curve as a normal match, as I say every bloody week. Why are there so many squashes across these two programs? We then cut backstage, and it's TJP and Drake Maverick, and TJP is demanding a Cruiserweight title shot because he's beaten everybody before. TJP then says that maybe wins and losses aren't the problem. Maybe the problem is Drake Maverick's problem, because he pissed himself at Survivor Series, and then he pissed on a robe and tried to flush it down a toilet on Raw. Piss! The pair are then interrupted by Mike and Maria, and thank God my prayers have been answered. They want to end it once and for all with Lucha House Party. TJ Perkins is not thrilled about this idea. He says that he's beaten them all one-on-one. What else has he got to prove? But Maria reminds him, you have to stay loyal. But Maria doesn't just want to beat them, she wants to humiliate them at a Lucha specialty, a tag team tornado match. Just as an aside, am I the only person that remembers it as a tornado tag match? not a tag team tornado match. I don't know why the wording's changed. But Drake Maverick agrees next week we have a tornado tag match. Mike Kanellis and TJP versus the Lucha House Party, and I'm assuming it's going to be 3-on-2 because Maria just really likes putting her husband up against the odds. We then go back to the ring for tonight's main event. Cedric Alexander and Mustafa Ali versus Tony Nese and the Cruiserweight champion, Buddy Murphy. These are possibly 4 of the strongest cruiserweights that WWE has to offer right now, and it's important for me personally because I love him so much that Tony Nese keeps having strong outings. Things start really fast as you'd expect with Cedric and Nese, with neither man able to gain the upper hand. It's just reversal after reversal after reversal after reversal until Cedric tags in Ali and the pair lay Nese flat. Murphy then gets in via sneaky tag and he starts smack talking Cedric on the apron. Cedric getting really upset with this. After he lays out Ali makes the tag to Cedric. Buddy Murphy cannot get out of there quicker and he tags in Nese. The subplot of this match is essentially Buddy Murphy playing mind games with Cedric Alexander. After overcoming the odds 2-on-1, Cedric makes the hot tag to Ali and then Ali starts taking it straight to Murphy. Ali hits the sit-out powerbomb, but it's no good. It only gets him a 2. Murphy then gets on the assault and Ali is taking the brunt of the punishment. Murphy and Nese are working really well as a team, keeping the tags rotating and trapping him in their corner. Ali desperately claws his way over to Cedric in the corner, but Buddy Murphy on the outside pulls Cedric's feet away, and everybody in the arena was super pissed about this. It's then hot tags ahoy as Cedric and Nese start going at it. Cedric almost puts Nese away with the springboard flatliner, but he kicks out at 2.9. It was so close. Nese and Murphy then get caught up in the corner after a failed double team attempt, and it's time for a Tower of Doom, except it doesn't quite happen. So Murphy is at the top of the Tower of Doom and he's stepping up onto the top rope, and he either loses footing or there's grease on the rope or something because he stacks it, falls horribly to the outside, and Ali, who was, I think, putting his weight on Murphy in order to set up the maneuver, he falls too, and it's a horrible landing, and I'm really hoping that both guys are okay. Cedric then improvises with a swan dive tope, and then Ali and Murphy slowly make their way back into the ring. Murphy then looks for Murphy's Law, fails. Ali hits this monster tornado DDT. Cedric tags him halfway through the move, jumps in, hits the lumbar check, and picks up the 3. I'm going to give this one a B+. It was by far the match of the night, and you can't really expect anything less from the 4 guys involved. And I just think it was a great match. It helped further the mysterious plans of Buddy Murphy storyline, and I'm quite eager to see where this all ends up. And now it's time for the overall grade for 205 Live, and I'm going to give this week's episode a C+. Overall, we've got some really nice developments with Daivari returning and the furthering of the storyline with Buddy Murphy and all of that, but the opener, it just didn't really do it for me. So with that said, let's crack on to NXT. Quick tie change, and hot off the heels of last week, tonight's main event is Lars Sullivan versus Keith Lee. Will this be Lars's final match in NXT? Will Keith Lee beat him? Will Keith Lee send him packing? Will Lars win? Will Lars come back? Is Lars actually going to go up to the main roster? Is it all a massive ruse? Find out now on Graded. We are in San Jose University tonight. It is a bigger and slightly blurrier room. I do not think they're using their regular camera equipment, or the lighting isn't right or something, because it just doesn't look as crisp as it always does. But we kick things off with Burch and Lorcan versus the Mighty. The story with Burch and Lorcan is just rolling over. They are just desperate to prove themselves as worthy of an NXT Tag Team Championship match, and they will do anything they possibly can to achieve it. Burch immediately gets Thorne under control, making frequent tags to keep him trapped in the corner, but Thorne eventually gets free and tags in Miller. Lorcan locks in a single leg Boston Crab. Burch manages to get in, locks in a crossface. They go for a double submission attempt, but it proves to be fruitless. The Mighty then dispose of Burch and start their beatdown on Lorcan. Both teams at this point are really trying to prove their abilities as tag team wrestlers, and the Mighty seem to just grab control. Lorcan attempts to mount a comeback, but he's just repeatedly ground into the mat until he's able to break free and get the hot tag to Burch. Burch cleans house, hitting a middle rope dropkick. Miller then stops a double team event, and Thorne takes it to Lorcan. Lorcan hits a huge suicide dive before tagging Burch in, but Thorne is able to once again stop a double team attempt. Lorcan is then able to sneak a quick cheeky roll-up, gets the 3, and the Mighty are having none of it. They beat the absolute piss out of them after the bell. I'm going to give this one a firm B. It keeps that Lorcan-Burch storyline going, and it fuels the desperation of the Mighty to get a win. And on top of that, the Mighty come out of this looking like a very vicious team that can do a lot of damage, and if there's one thing NXT needs right now, it's more credible threats in the tag division. We then go backstage, and Kairi Sane, Io Shirai, and Dakota Kai are being interviewed. Kairi Sane admits defeat at War Games and says that the referee's word is final, but she's not finished with Shayna. Dakota Kai then says she's sick of Shayna hiding behind her mates, and Io Shirai says she will do anything she can to help her best friend Kairi Sane, and they want all 3 of them. They want Shayna Baszler, Jessamine Duke, and Marina Shafir. It's going to be a hell of a match. We then go back to the ring, and it's Axel Dieter, French name, that's right, it's EC3 versus Marcel Barthel. During his entrance, Nigel tries to sing along to Marcel Barthel's music, and it's wonderful, you should definitely check that out. And as the match starts, Barthel uses his technical advantage to keep EC3 at arm's length. It doesn't obviously last a while, but he gets some offense in, it's quite nice. Barthel then takes EC3 to the corner, manages to keep him there with a low drop kick and a series of strikes, and I absolutely love that he's still doing the ring camp shtick to taunt the crowd. Barthel is then able to take EC3 to the mat, locking him up, but EC3 fights back, pushes him into the ropes, and the systematic destruction of Marcel Barthel begins. EC3 then hits him very quickly with the 1%er and picks up the win. Immediately after this, EC3 gets on the mic, and he is not addressing the Undisputed Era, he's addressing one person in particular, and that man is Bobby Fish, and he has the following to say. This isn't about an eye for an eye or a leg for a leg. It's a bold proclamation. I'm coming for your head, your legs, and everything in between. I thought this was a great match. I'm going to give this one a B, and I've said it before, but when Barthel screamed 9 at the crowd, it just reminded me all over again. I absolutely love foreign heels using their own languages against American crowds, because the second he screamed 9, the crowd started up with USA chants. It might sound like I'm generalizing because they're the same nationality, but as a kid growing up watching WCW, I absolutely loved heel Alex Wright when he would speak German, and the crowd just hated him for that. They hated him just because he spoke German and would refuse to speak English. It got him nuclear heat. And you know, I'm hoping that if they do bring Walter in for a series of US shows, and hopefully Thatcher, and we can get Ring Camp on the go, they allow them to do it that way. We then cut to a hype package for Donovan Dijak, or Donovan Dijakovic as he's now being billed, and then we go to a pre-record of Candace entering the Performance Center earlier in the day, and she is refusing to answer questions about her morality, about whether she supports Johnny, about what's going on in their relationship. She just walks straight in the building and doesn't say a word. We then go back to the ring for Mia Yim versus Vanessa Bourne. Mia is technically the hometown hero in this one because apparently she lives nearby, but Vanessa Bourne opens this one by slapping her in the chops. Bourne then just lays into Mia. She's really taking it to her, takes it to the corner, and then takes it to the mat and slows the pace down. Commentary are really putting over Vanessa Bourne's development at the Performance Center throughout the course of this match. Mia then locks in the armbar, Bourne manages to get to the rope, and then Mia throws her into the ropes and locks in the tarantula. After she's forced to break the hold, Mia then lays in a series of strikes, and she seems to finally be on the front foot. She then hits the Eat Defeat and picks up the 3, but I'm gonna give this one a D+, and here's why. I just don't think that this match did anything for anybody but Bourne. I don't know if it was supposed to be an outing for Mia. It just felt like the victory was more of the fact that Mia managed to find an exploit in Bourne's armor and capitalize on that to get the win. It didn't feel like a definitive victory. So sorry, but D+. Let me know in the comments how wrong I am. We then cut backstage to a promo from Tommaso Ciampa, and he promised everybody that he was going to be the most dangerous SOB that NXT had ever seen, and that he is the greatest sports entertainer of all time. And he just demands one thing and one thing only from the NXT universe, and that's when him and Goldie, his belt, it's now called Goldie, make their way to the ring next week. They all follow his lead. And now it's time for the match that I've wanted to see forever. It is Lars Sullivan versus Keith Lee in tonight's main event. We seem to kick off this match in the middle of a house fire because the ventilation in the venue doesn't appear to be able to clear the room quick enough of the fog from the smoke machine. Both men attempt to charge the other in the opening segment of this match, but it's just a case of unstoppable force meeting a movable object until Lars is able to cut Keith Lee off in midair and drive him into the corner. The pair then exchange blows and Keith Lee tries to dart himself like springboard style over the top rope, but he is only met with Lars Sullivan's boot. Lars then hits a diving headbutt. Keith Lee is able to kick out, but Lars keeps him on the mat. He eventually brings Lee back to his feet, drives him into the corner and lays him there, and then goes to the opposite side of the ring to charge him, only for Lee to move out of the way, sending Lars flying into the ring post. This gives Lee the opening he needs. Lee gets his springboard crossbody attempt that he was cut off with by the boot earlier, and now Lars is on his knees, just absorbing all of the punishment that Keith Lee can throw at him as he's getting slowly back to his feet. Keith Lee then sort of hits a pounce that kind of captures it, but that doesn't matter because Lars goes to the outside and then is immediately followed by Keith Lee just doing one of the most insane dives I have ever seen in a wrestling ring. Just straight over the top rope, twisty, turny, and oh my god, it looked scary. He then takes Lars back into the ring, attempts a cover, but Lars kicks out, goes for the moonsault, and Lars rolls out of the way. Lars then hits the freak accident and picks up the win. I'm gonna give this one an A-. It proves that WWE can still do big man versus big man, giant versus giant matches, and people can get invested in it. I'd love to see this before Lars gets called up for good, spilling into a cage, just building its way classically all the way up to a cage where nobody can escape, and that could be Lars's big send-off match. So as for my overall grade for NXT this week, I am gonna give the episode a C+. I wasn't a big fan of the Mia Yim Vanessa Bourne match, but that main event, holy hell, that main event. I really want to see this feud continue, and also with Lars being sort of put over as a free agent by Michael Cole on main roster television, it'd be nice to see Lars going between all three brands, Raw, SmackDown, and NXT, causing havoc. And that means we can build to that big send-off match that I so desperately want in a cage at a takeover, WWE, please. And then it can be this huge, huge moment with this massive spot off the top of the cage. And I'm just fantasizing at this point. I should probably stop yammering on and let you all get on with your day. So this has been graded for NXT and 205 Live. I've been Sam from Cultaholic.com. You can follow me on Twitter here. You can follow all of us at Cultaholic. If you like what we do here at Cultaholic, you can check us out on Patreon. That's patreon.com/Cultaholic. And no matter what you do, don't ever forget to hit subscribe and join us.